Hello YouTube, it's Louise the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. Welcome back to the Tuesday Knit Group. This is our third episode of the Tuesday Knit Group where we sit and we chat and we talk about knitting or crochet or any kind of crafts, and everybody is welcome. There is tea, there is coffee, the kettle has just boiled. I have my cup of tea right here. Can you see the steam coming off it? Ooh, don't think you can. If I could do it against my clothes, no. But it's got lovely steam coming off it. There have been some chocolate chip cookies brought. Yes, no lemon drizzle this week, which was a bit of a shame because I thoroughly enjoyed it last time. But yes, got some chocolate chip cookies brought. I've put some shortbread out, homemade. You're welcome. Yes, everybody always asks me for the recipe afterwards, and I will never give it because it was my mother's recipe. So yes, help yourself to whatever you want. There is some chai tea in there. It's not it's powder, unfortunately. I haven't yet got to the stage where I can put together the black tea and the herbs to make the chai tea, but there is some powdered stuff in there, and green tea and all the other stuff. Bottle of wine open for those that fancy it. Obviously, if you're watching this while you're having your breakfast, no. Although, you know, could it be a mimosa or a Bucks Fizz or something like that? Yes. I'm not sure we've got any orange juice actually, although I do have some chocolate oat milk. If you're fancying something sweet and you don't fancy a cookie, help yourself. That's lovely. All very nice here, all very relaxed. I have a cat with me. I have Indy, the kitten, with me. You'll just have to believe that because he's sat there. Can you see an ear? If I move you just slightly, I'm worried because I've got you nicely set up. So this is my... Can you see there's an ear there? Here we are. Oh. There he is. Difficult to spot against a dark cushion, but there's my lovely boy. That was nice. Give you a picture of my... There we are. I don't know if you're back into the same place. Never mind. We'll just have to go with that. Just have to go with that. So yeah, so Indy joined me. He's fine. He's not eaten anything weird. We're all right. Let me know if you want the temperature, if you want the heating on. Should be fine. I had it on this morning and it seems to be fine. Once we're all in here, it gets hot anyway. And let's face it, I'm not very good at telling the temperatures now. I am the woman of, is it just me or is it hot in here as I open a window? Yes, it's that time of life where randomly I can become very, very hot. And I don't tend to realise it's just me that is hot. So the poor husband and Benedict are living with variable temperatures in this house at the moment because I suddenly open doors and go, stuff in here. And they go, no, it's not. I've lit us a candle. I've lit us an emerald candle for today, which is love, of course. It's social interaction, so it's to ease our way with one another as we sit here together. Plenty of room, everybody's welcome. And it's also fertility, but I think that boat may have sailed. For myself, there may be those amongst you who that would apply, but I thought perhaps because it was, you know, the week of the Valentine's Day, it suggests, you know, some action in that way, so I thought I'd put that. But emerald's a lovely one to burn anyway, and it's burning nicely in front of our Buddha. So yes, how's your week been? Have you had a good week? I don't think we've done anything particularly exciting this week. But the week is young, and of course we have Valentine's Day. Not going out for it. Maybe I'll be persuaded to cook something fancy. Oh, I just remembered I was going to get something, and I haven't got it. I think it's over there. Will you just hold on one sec, and let me see if it's there. Bear with. I'll be back in a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Won't be a moment. That's my secret stash. That's where I keep the stuff, rather than keeping... I quite often keep a little stash of projects down here. But if it's a project that I'm not getting to right at this moment, but I might do. It's a project I'm actively working on, but I might not be doing it tonight. I put it in the, it's a, I'm saying this, you can tell I've got menopause. The word just went. I want to say it's a pouffe, but it's not a pouffe. So it's what you put your feet on. It's a footstool. God, lordy. I've got years of this as well, haven't I? Years. It's like baby brain. I've got a friend who had a baby a year ago, and she still talks about baby brain. And I was thinking, oh, and then it just merges into something else. So yes, it's a footstool, big footstools, which you can lift up. Secret store. I feel like I'm being really tidy. If not, I have the bags down there, and I can just. Those are my kind of quick grab stuff. If I want to sit and do something. I think all knitters and all crafters have their ways of storing things so that it looks like they've got less than they actually have. We all seem to put things. When I go around my friend's house, oh, my friend came last Wednesday. Yes, she did come last Wednesday, which was lovely. Had a good old chinwag. We did do a yarn swap. Did she take? I don't think I put quite a few bits out, but she didn't really take much. And she had some Stylecraft DK. The one that I use for the blankets, and she had some really bright colours of those, which will be handy. So I thought I would have a go with those. Where are you going, Indy? And also she had a ball of cotton, which is kind of sea colours. It was really nice, and so I thought I might use that for some dishcloths or some face cloths or something like that, because it was really nice. It was really nice colours, and it felt really soft. So I thought I might use that. She doesn't particularly like crocheting with cotton. She just is not into knitting. She's a demon crocheter. My word, she is swift with a hook, let me tell you. So yeah, so that's what news I've had. So yes, but what was I saying? Yes, when I was around her house, and she said, oh yes, I'm working on this, and she opened up a cupboard, and there were all these different bags in there, and I thought, you're not just working on one, are you? We've all got our secret stores. You'd imagine, no, it's all perfect, but no, she opened a cupboard and there was bag after bag that I bet nobody else ever knows is there. So that was quite fun. So yeah, so let's chat about works in progress. But no, first of all, let's do the finished object chat. Yes, can you see what I'm wearing, everyone? Yes, so I have been working on, so we had a whole discussion about sizing and the fact that I did that cardigan, the Catagan cardigan, and it was far too big, and so I thought I would choose something that was going to be much quicker, and I would kind of check my sizing with this thing. And it was this. Let me show you. Let me take it out of its plastic sleeve. So it was this. So I bought this 4 or 5 years ago, probably. Just as a kind of starter. I thought, I'll have a go with that because it doesn't look too complicated. It's basically stockinette with rib. So it's rib at there. So I thought I'll do that. So I did it, and I did it far too small. So I used the wrong yarn, the wrong needles, and made it far too small. So that was the end. So I was like, yeah, a 12-year-old could fit into that. Not me. I wasn't 12. So I thought I'm going to take my cardigan off so you can see. So I thought, well, I'll make this one. So I made it in Stranded Dye Works, Pigeon Fancier, and it's too big. You know, I worried that it was going to be too big. Yes, it's too big. It is wearable, it is wearable just. So what did I do? So I decided that I would make the collar. So the collar there, that should be at least 10 rows of 2x2 rib, which is 2 knits, 2 purls. And this is what you do. And you pick up the stitches. So you knit the front, you knit the front, and then you knit the back, and then you join them at the shoulder, and you knit round. So I did this on a circular needle, which meant a long needle. And I didn't do 10, but I did nearly 8. And because I didn't want to have that much rib here. Picked it up. Picking up the stitches was absolutely fine, but it's just, it is quite low. It is quite low on the old chest. And then you pick up the stitches for either side. So once you've done this, you pick up the stitches for the armholes and you do it. So that's it. So then I tried it on and I just thought I had elongated the armholes because I'm tall and I didn't want it to be tight. So if you look there, you can't really tell how tight they are, can you? And there is no measurements anywhere where it tells you where that's supposed to fit on your armhole. But I didn't want it to be tight, but that really shows you, doesn't it? I show there's tight and then there's a big gaping armhole. I'm at the big gaping armhole stage. And it is just loose. And do you know the biggest problem that I've done? This is my biggest learning from this that I've taken. Two learnings, friends. 2 learnings. First thing, I'm going to do Tina's from Simply in Stitches. Her suggestion last week, Tina, you star, said to find a piece of clothes that I like and how I want it to fit and use that measurement instead of the measurement on my body, like my bust measurement or what have you. So to use the centimetres or inches on something that I like the fit of or how I want the garment to fit. And the other thing is, don't choose something that is supposed to be fitted. So this is quite a fitted garment. And just think by doing it bigger, it will be fine. Don't make it oversized. Don't choose a fitted garment and make it oversized. Choose an oversized garment. So something that has extra inches put in it. So if you read knitting patterns or crochet patterns, they will talk about the ease, the fit of the garment. So in this pattern, it says somewhere that this is, does it say? Actually, this one doesn't. No, not a great pattern. But a lot of patterns say, it's not a good example, a lot of patterns say this is a fitted garment, or this has 6 inches, this is designed to have 6 inches positive ease, or this is designed to have 2 inches positive ease, or this is designed to have negative ease. So, for example, something like socks, you don't particularly want to have positive ease because they will just fall down. You actually want them to have negative ease so that they hold tightly to your foot. So the gauntlets that I made last week, my gauntlets, they have negative ease. So they look smaller than me and they cling to me so that they don't move. So this was supposed to be a fitted garment, but I decided I wanted something with positive ease. So I thought, well, if I just scale it up, it'll be fine. But it's not designed that way. It's not designed to be scaled up in that way. And it just doesn't fit. The length, I'm going to stand up. Let's do the standing up thing, if I can see. So the length, you still there? So, my bum. So there's my hip. I'm very close. I don't think if I can, there we are. So you can see it is just beyond hip. It has been blocked and it is just beyond my hip. The front is, it's actually, the length is perfect. There's my bottom. A fine bottom it is too. You see, it just, oh, it's a bit gapey. It's a bit gappy. It's not unwearable. it feels lovely. So this is, as I say, Stranded Dye Works Pigeon Fancier is the colourway, and I love it. I love it. It's her Paradise base, which is merino and cashmere and nylon. So the nylon means it's a bit more hard wearing, the cashmere means it's super soft, and the merino means it's very breathable and very wearable. So it's a lovely, luxurious mix, and I do think it is gorgeous. I have blocked it, and it did grow a little bit when I blocked it. So when I say blocked it, so when you finish a garment, there are 3 things you need to do. 1, weave in the ends. And as I come from a sewing background of patchwork and quilting, so weaving in ends is just pleasurable. I'm more than happy to weave in any ends. I have no issue about weaving in ends. Second thing is you block it. Now, there are various ways that you can block something, and if you are an experienced knitter or crocheter, you'll know all about this. But what it means by blocking is washing. So you can steam block, or you can wet block, or you can just dampen it. So something like this, I can't put in a washing machine. I'm not going to put this in a washing machine, full stop. I mean, if I did, the agitation of the washing machine would cause it to start to slightly felt, and it would lose all the definition of the stitches, and it would change its shape and it's the material that I've created. So I'm more likely to hand wash it. So I decided to wet block this, and so I put it in a sink with some tepid water, and I used a fabric soak, and I actually used soak which is designed for hand washing your delicates like your lingerie or your wools. So you could use a woolen wash, or you could use something like this. Now the best thing about something like this is it's designed so that you don't rinse it out. So you can soak it in it and then gently squeeze the water out of it, and you don't have to go through the whole business of rinsing. So if you hand wash something, you have to wash it and then you have to rinse it to get rid of the soap suds. With something like this, you don't need to do it. So this is called soak, and I've gone for fig. It's not very figgy. It's a lovely smell, but it's not kind of like, oh. I had one that was lavender, and it really was kind of like, my word, are you wearing a lavender sachet there? You know, with a bit of heat. My word, it's like we were tramping through a lavender field. So I don't use that one anymore, but this one, fig, I don't think, you don't really notice it. Mind you, fig's not one of those smells, is it? It's not like you walk in and go, somebody been eating figs? It's not like that. Have you been eating figs again? Although they're an aphrodisiac. Back to Valentine's Day. Husband doesn't like figs. I like figs. Husband doesn't. Anyway, we won't be having figs. So I use this. So you put a little bit of that in, agitate it a bit, and then soak it. And the idea and then you can steam block something, which is when you hang it up and then you apply steam to it. So you can either use a steamer. They're getting all the rage. Have you noticed that? I've seen quite a few people say, I don't ever iron. I use one of those steamers. I'm intrigued. But if you're going to do any dressmaking, you still would need to iron. Am I right? Anyway, that's just an aside. Have you got one of those steamers? If you have got one of those steamers, are they worth the investment? What do you think? So then you would steam it, or you could just use your iron with the steam setting, and you can either go along and steam it, or you can hold it up and steam it. What blocking does is it allows you to reshape it, or it allows you to kind of smooth the fabric that you've created with your knitting. When you're knitting something or crocheting something, your stitches are going to not be perfectly even. However neat a knitter or crocheter you are, your tension over time, over a garment, will more than likely alter a little bit. And when you're changing stitches, so I did this as knits and purls because it was knitted in 2 separate pieces and then put together. And then this bit I knit the neckline and the neckband and the armbands, I knit in the round. So I just did knit stitches. Well, actually I did knits and purls, so I was doing ribbing. But my tension is going to be slightly different. The way going from one way to another will cause my tension to be slightly different. Also, tension isn't just your action. I don't believe this. This isn't scientific. I have no idea whether this is true or not, but I firmly believe that tension is not just your action. It is kind of where you are and the mood you're in and how hot you are and how cold you are. How hot I am is the main thing for me at the moment. Quite hot, thanks. So your tension, it will alter. Also, unless you've been knitting in a very sterile place, you're going to get kind of dust on it or cat hairs. I've got 3 cats, probably going to be a cat hair on there, or a bit of a stain or a spill or something like that. It's not going to be perfectly pristine clean. And so blocking cleans it. It smooths out your tension and smooths out the stitches. And it allows the garment to almost become one piece of fabric. You can kind of see it all even out. Some people would use it to aggressively block, so you can actually lengthen or widen it by stretching it. When you block things, you can just wash it. So if imagine wet blocking. You've soaked it, you squeeze out the water at the end, you don't wring, because that will agitate the fabric. You just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until it's all out. And then I lay mine on a towel and then roll it up in the towel and give it a good old squeeze in the towel. Can't see my action. That's what I'm doing. And then I will lay it down. Now, if you want to hang it, so for example, you can clip it to a clothesline and let it dry like that, but it will lengthen, because gravity will grab hold of it. So you can lengthen it that way, but you can't control your lengthening. If you want to control exactly how it looks at the end, you will pin it to something. So you quite often see pictures of people blocking and they're laying flat and they're pinned or they're clamped or there's something on it to hold it straight. And so I use, and I think most people use, these kind of polystyrene mats that you can get from kind of play areas. So kind of, this was one that Ben, for Ben, my 10-year-old son, you get play mats, you get all different colours. We had ones with numbers on and that kind of stuff. And so you can clip them together to be as big or as little as you want. They're soft, but polystyrene-y, foam. And then you can put your pins into it. They don't get ruined. I don't know if you have got lots of little pinholes on my things, which you can't really see, but I've got lots of little pinholes on it. So you lay it flat, you pin it to the shape that you want. So you can widen it, or you can lengthen it, or you can smooth out the shaping, or that kind of stuff, and you let it dry. So that's what I did with this. I did it for a little bit outside, and then I found the cat lying on it, which is the bane of my existence when I try and block things. There's always a cat lying on it. So then I kind of propped it up, and then I found the cat leaning. I'm like, why would you do that? So it's leaning against it. So I was like, cat's laying on it, and now it's leaning against it. So I then shoved it off and shoved the cat away. And then eventually I hung it up in the air so that it would, the airing cupboard, so it would dry next to the boiler, next to the hot water tank. And it's drying. It's dried perfectly. It actually, this wool, I think, will dry quite quickly. And it has grown a little bit. I did think it might grow a little bit because I'm a tight knitter. So things do tend to ever so slightly relax a little bit after I've knitted them. So the length is perfect. It has grown a bit on the length. The length is perfect. It just is just big, really. I can wear it more. I do that. The problem is, it's just kind of, it's not doing anything particularly for my figure. Not that I particularly wanted it to do anything for my figure, but it really isn't. I also think these are too wide. Do you know what I mean? I was talking to the husband about it and he looked at me completely nonplussed. I think, in my head, they were going to be like that. You know? And I think somehow that's slightly more flattering. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think they're too wide. Exactly what the pattern was. But they are too, I think they are too wide. And then this is too wide. I did put on about an extra inch here because I'm tall. And so I nearly always add extra for the armholes because otherwise they're too tight. And who wants a tight armpit? Nobody ever said, "Oh, I like to have it snug." No, again, hot. But that, I mean, I could store lunch down there, couldn't I? Pop my lunch in. Pack of crisps that side, some sandwiches. I'm sorted. Some chocolate chip cookies. Mind you, I wouldn't put them down there, but I could store my lunch down there and nobody'd notice. Dinner under here. So it is a bit big. It is a bit big. I wore it out before I blocked it on Friday night because I went out with the husband. We went to a local pub for a pint, which was very nice. And I wore it out under this cardi. I have numerous cardigans. And he said it looked lovely. And he said, no, I don't think it looks bad. But it has gained at least another couple of inches since blocking it. But he said, oh, it's lovely. And then sitting down like this, it's fine. It's nice and warm. Good on my back. So when I showed my friend last Wednesday, we had a good old look at it together and we talked about sizing and this kind of stuff. And she said, I think you should now knit another one, but 2 sizes smaller, or at least 2 sizes smaller. And you'll have a lot more of an idea. If you like the style, you will have a lot more of an idea of exactly what you need and what you want. And you've said it isn't a quick knit. It is a quick knit, so it's not like you're giving, you know, you're taking up the whole of February with it. So she said it's a quick knit. You said it was an enjoyable knit and it's a quick knit. And you're happy to wear, you think you're going to be able to wear that, so why don't you do another one? My decision is that I'm not going to do this pattern again. I've done it twice and I did it way too small and I've now done it way too big. Looking at it, I don't want all of that rib there. I think I'm just going to have a look for another top like this. I think this one may have come to its natural end with me. However, car going slowly past. However, I am able to wear this. It's just I wasn't as pleased as I'd hoped to be. I love the wool that I've used. That never went. It's perfectly wearable under a cardigan like this. I don't think I would wear it not with a cardigan on the top because I just think it is just too big. It's very loose. But under a cardigan like this on a cold day is lovely, and it is warm and toasty and what have you. So, and as a woman that keeps getting very hot, it's quite good to be able to take something off and go, oh. So yeah, so I've got really mixed feelings about this, but then that's life, isn't it? Sometimes I haven't knitted that many garments. I've knitted a lot more accessories and I've crocheted a lot more accessories. I just haven't really gone down the garment route. And I think it shows. So I think I'm learning. So I've never knitted myself a jumper. I've knitted this cardigan, which is difficult to see. This is the Mina Phillips Mix and Match cardigan. And I did it in this lovely very deep purple. Can you tell that's purple? It is that dark. I do love it. There we are. I knit it in BC Garn, 100% wool. Didn't say what it was made up of. My word, does it pill. Look at it, just, I have gleaned this, and a gleaner is something that is a bobble remover. So you know when you knit, when you have a woolen jumper, you get these kind of bobbles that come along from rubbing. I mean, that's on the outside of my arm. I mean, how much rubbing do you do there? You expect that kind of stuff from areas that it rubs, you know, where you naturally rub. Keep saying the word rub, I'll stop it. But it does, my word, it does pill. I thought it, because it said 100% wool, I thought it might be quite, oh, hello. I thought it could be quite hard wearing. No, got that wrong. BC Garn, I got it from Loop. I did mail order. And the picture showed lighter than this. I was like, my word, that is dark. On the old internet, this was, it was lighter. So I was a bit kind of, oh, when it came. But I thought, luckily, I really like it still, so that's fine. It was lovely to knit with. The only thing was I bought it was commercial yarn, and there were 2 balls, and they said they were from the same dye lot, and I don't believe they were, because they were noticeably different. Luckily, I had enough wool that I didn't need to use those 2, but that was a shame. So I had a problem with the wool, and it just is pilled so much. Again, I did this slightly too big, but it's nice as an oversized cardigan, and it does work with this. So yeah, so there was that. Did perfect length sleeves. Look at that. That's exactly how I like my sleeves. And I'll tell you what else I did with this. This is apropos nothing. This was my own daft say, I didn't go down a needle size. I didn't go down the needle size for the ribbing. So normally you do the sleeves and then you drop your needle size for any ribbing. It's really hard to show, but there is about 1.5 inches worth of ribbing at the bottom. Here. And normally you drop it so that it tightens, and I didn't. I completely forgot, and so I carried on. And so, being ribbing and more elastic, it goes slightly bigger, but actually it works perfectly because that sits on my hand, so it's there and it goes slightly looser and I love it. I would do this again if I was to do a cardigan. I wouldn't drop the needle size for the hand bit. I really like the fact that it kind of slightly gently flares out and sits on my hands like that. So that's that. So yeah. So there we go, friends. That's what I finished this week. I literally finished it Thursday, I think. Or maybe I finished it Friday. It was completely finished Friday, and then I wore it Friday night, and then I blocked it yesterday. So it dried nice and quickly, and it isn't that warm at the moment. So yeah, I was very pleased. Very pleased indeed. So you say, what is that you're knitting? Well, lovely people, I am knitting. Let me just get to the end here. End of this row, and then I can show you. So I've got a couple of things to show you here. I hope you're interested. You might not be interested. Always fast forward this bit and go and get yourself another cup of tea. I won't be offended. I won't be offended. So somebody said that they were doing the mecha shawl last week, and I wanted to show my mecha shawl. This is it. So I had the Raven Defenders kit. So Raven, because of this beautiful black, it's in double knitting, so it's DK. And you have this, you have garter. You can't see this at all. Might be easier if I show you in the colour. So you have garter sections, and then you have this textured section. You start at this point. So you do texture, and then you do garter, then you do texture, and you do garter, and then you do texture garter like that. And when she was saying she might add an extra section in, it's to add another bit of colour or something like that. So it does, it's a slightly asymmetrical shawl. And I love it. The only thing is it's slightly too bulky to wear around my neck like this, unless it's a very cold day. And that's normally how I like to wear my scarves, my shawls, is I normally wear them like that. I also have had difficulty trying to get it so that you can see the colour, because you want to see those beautiful reds. So that's my only difficulty, is that I've not found the way to wear it yet, that I don't feel like I'm slightly strangling myself, which isn't particularly pleasant, I have to say, but I loved it. It's such a lovely knit. The yarn was from Gamer Crafting, and it's just gorgeous, and how she's done the colours of the raven and stuff like that is just lovely. I don't tend to wear shawls like that, but it would be perfect for that, but don't regret doing it in 1 second. This is the shawl I wear the most often, and this was in Beehive yarns, and it was cuckoo flower, and the pattern is by Isabel Kramer and is called Paris Toujours. Paris Toujours by Isabel Kramer. I lengthened it actually and added some extra rows, and it is like that. She says make it your own. So again, it's a lace pattern with garter in between. You start here and you do lace and then garter, lace and garter, and she basically says just lengthen or shorten it as you want to make it as big or as small as you want. And I wanted a really big shawl to wear. It's fingering weight and I love it. It is probably my most worn shawl, and I wear it like that, and I absolutely love it. It's so comfortable. It goes under coats or just over top of a jumper. I love the vibrancy because I wear quite a lot of dark colours, and so that just lifts it, and having that colour by my face suits me. I just love it, I really do. It's softened so much. It was soft to begin with. I think it was merino nylon. I think it was 80-20, and it's softened even more. It's super soft and just gorgeous, and I love the size of it. I can't get it all in, it's huge, but I love it. So that's probably my most favourite. Now this shawl, this is in a lovely, God, this colour, can you see? It's a really, really deep blue. So this is purple and that's blue, but it looks all a bit similar. Here we go. It is that colour, and it's by Travel Knitter. Oh, it's just so lovely. And the pattern is the Amulet Shawl by Helen Stewart, who sells under Curious Handmade. So she is Helen Stewart, but her name for her company really is Curious Handmade. And I love it. I just wish it was slightly bigger. So this was one of my first shawls I ever knit. God, this colour. I just love it. Love it. Yes, I wish it was bigger. Now it calls for a 4mm needle, and I knit tight, and I didn't go up because I didn't think about it, and I should have gone up. So I'm knitting another one because I love the style. So it's a triangle shawl. It's garter. So this is garter stitch. Garter stitch is where you knit both ways. So stockinette is knit and then purl, and it creates this kind of fabric. the kind of recognisable knit fabric. Yeah, and then garter, which is knit and knit, so you knit both ways, creates this fabric. Can you see that it's got this kind of the bumpy look? So that's the garter fabric. Garter is stretchier than stockinette. It has a bit more stretch to it than stockinette does. And it doesn't curl either. So if you were to knit stockinette, it curls at the edges, which is really irritating, whereas garter doesn't. So you quite often see people knitting swatches in garter because it lies flat, or that's the benefit of garter on a shawl. It is easy to knit and it also doesn't curl. It automatically lies flat and you don't need to worry about it. So it's garter, then there is a lace section, more garter, and then there is this edging pattern. So this was the first time I ever did lace, and you can't tell unless you were to count it, but it does slightly go off, and I had to kind of fudge the edging a little bit. Looking back on it, even I can't tell you where I've gone wrong, but I know I did. No, I can't tell. Can't tell where I went wrong, but I know I did. So I decided I would do it again and I would make it bigger. Because I like wearing this, but I always think, oh, it's just slightly too small. Although looking at it there, it doesn't look small at all. Yeah, lovely. Too many layers of knitwear. So I decided I would knit myself another one. So I finished this and I thought, oh, what shall I do now? Had a good rummage through all my current patterns that I wanted to wear, that I wanted to knit, and a lot of them are going to require me to think about them to begin with anyway. So I wanted to do that kimono, which is that kind of patchwork thing, and then I thought about doing a Stephen West pattern, Vertices United, because that's a big shawl. I thought, oh, I could do that, and then I'd use that, and then I could do this, I could do that. I kept looking at my Ravelry queue and looking at my patterns that I bought, and oh, I could make this or I could do that. And I just thought, no. I just want a really easy knit that I don't have to think about. And I wanted another shawl. And I've got this beautiful wool. Let's do another amulet. So, I'm using Babel's Yarns, Global Inspiration. And that is Grace of Babel's Travelling Yarns podcast. And this is called Tealicious, and it is just gorgeous. Look at that. Oh. It is in her yarn base is her bamboozle, and it's a 60% muesling free merino wool. I have no idea what that means. 25% bamboo, 15% nylon. So it is has a bit of heft to it. It is fingering, but it's not soft, but it's not it's not this soft. This is like, oh, lovely. It's a bit more to it than that. However, I know bamboo softens up hugely by wearing it or by washing it. I mean, it really does. Bamboo's great. If ever you get some wool that's got bamboo in it and you're thinking, oh, it's not as soft as I'd anticipated, don't worry, it does soften an awful lot by wear. And so I started, this is my ball that I've got, and I've started away. Should be on 4mm, but I'm doing 4.5. A moment looks like an enormous pair of knickers. Or a bonnet. So there we go. So I'm doing the garter stitch. So you can see it has already come up bigger. I'm at like 250 stitches already. I'm using a circular needle. So it's my Higher Sharps. Higher is a brand of needles. And this is Higher Sharps. They have, you can tell they are very sharp. They're very good for lace work. I just like them. I like a sharp needle rather than the other range that Higher do, which is steel, which are slightly blunter. So you can see These are very sharp. I think if you do continental or close knit, when you're really close to your fingers all the time, I think people catch them. But because I do English style and I throw, I never catch myself, and I like the fact they are so sharp. They are part of my interchangeable set, and what that means is I have a set of tips, the steel bits, and I have a set of cord lengths, and I can change between the length of cord that I want and the size of needle that I want. So this is on 100 centimetre, so it's my longest. The benefit of doing it on a circular is you don't worry about it falling off, because you are literally knitting it almost in a circle, but you just don't knit at the last stitch to hold it together, you just turn it round. And also the cord takes the weight of it, so if you were to knit it on a straight needle, you would have all of that weight on one needle all the time, or two as you're knitting, but it holds, you hold it differently. So having a circular means that the weight is evenly spread, and it just is not difficult to work on. So that's one of the reasons that some people use circular needles, because it holds the weight differently and it just is easier. So yeah, so I have a light bulb stitch marker. I can show you there we are, it's a little light bulb one, telling me where I need to increase, because I have a central increase which I'm doing, you can see down there, so I need that, and then I've got a little B stitch marker, and that tells me which side I'm on, because on the right side, which is the one with the B, I have to increase the stitches, and on the wrong side, no B, I just knit. So that's why I have. So if you see people with knitting jewellery, sometimes it's because it makes it look pretty, and then other times it's to tell you which side you're on. And I have some stitch markers that say RS for right side and WS for wrong side, and increase here, and I do actually have some by Yarnistry which are very useful. But I just wanted a little stitch marker, and these are called light bulbs because they look like an old-fashioned light bulb. So yeah, so that's why I have that on it. It isn't to mark progress, it is literally to tell me you're on the right side, so you need to increase. When I get down to the lace sections, I will start to put more stitch markers to tell me where I am in my lace section. So let me show you a picture of the lovely Helen wearing it. There she is. So it was part of her Shawl society that she did, and then she releases the pattern afterwards. So I'm in that first garter bit, and then I've got this lace pattern, bit more garter, and then I've got this lovely lace edging. So I'm in that bit first, and it's just so easy, bumbling along, knit, 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 increase, increase, knit, 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 knit. Very easy. And then this is a repetitive lace pattern, so I shall start using more stitch markers to tell me where I am. The other thing that she does is that when she does her pattern, she gives it this row by row, and she tells you the percentages, so that if you're worried about how much yarn you have left, you can see. And it also tells you the total number of stitches you should have on each row. So I don't cross off. As you see, I've done the pattern before, so I've crossed off things. This time I'm not counting every one. I'm just counting every however many rows to make sure I'm, keeping count, as it were. So yeah, that doesn't give anything away, does it? Just says right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side. So yeah, I'm up to about 250 stitches. I think I've got a couple of more rows, and then I start the eyelet section. Hurrah! And then it's ribbing. Oh, lovely. So yes, I'm really enjoying that. I'm going to take this off because I'm getting hot. Of course, I'm getting hot. So there we are. So I'm doing, that's my lovely easy peasy knitting. I just sit and do that. Let's see how we're doing. I was not going to make this a long one, although it already is a long one. I haven't done, sort of Louise, I haven't done the swatches. I was faffing around doing other things. And I started and then I put them down and I didn't get back to them. So I will have to do them in a week or two. Next week, I'm afraid, friends, I am not going to be here. I was trying to work out how I could do it and I can't. It's just the fact that I've got stuff going on next week that have been booked for ages before I started doing the weekly podcast. So I still will be there for Friday Reads. So if you're interested in Friday Reads, which is my 10, 15 minute, 20 minute weekly update as to what I've been reading, and laundry, the all important laundry update of my neighbours, you have to watch it for that to make sense. If you're interested in that, that still will be there. Friday Reads will continue because I can always find time for Friday Reads. I just don't think I'm going to have time to do this. I know I'm not going to. So I won't be here next week. So you'll have to go around to somebody else's house next week. And then the week after, we'll be here. So yes. Right then. Let me quickly show you this. No, we'll go do some comments. We'll just chat amongst ourselves for a bit. And then I will quickly show you this, because you might be interested in joining me. Let me pick up my laptop. That's my candles doing, yes, all right. Here we go. Joan Perkins again. She was our number one. Hello, Joan. Have iced tea. Very nice. Very nice iced tea. Knitting on a pierced, as in putting pieces together, Afghan, which will look kind of patchworky. Lovely. Love to knit socks, but the old eyes say no. Oh, she did her socks on 4 DPN needles as well. Elizabeth, you're very, very wonderful. You're very, very welcome about the ripple. Going to start the blanket tomorrow. I hope the ice storm wasn't as bad. Freeze Baby's Fibre Frolic is the best name ever. It's her tea's chai tea, and that's why I put it out there, because I noticed you said that you had chai tea. She sets her intention as well. Always suggest it's a good idea. Axio Brit, hello. There was some lovely weather in Chicago after the polar vortex. I'm knitting on a sock while watching today. And a very nice sock it is too. Isabel Flynn. I'm no way a knitter, although you're making me tempted to try it. Do it. Anything. So I hope you don't mind me bringing your watercolours. Oh, Brit. That's just lovely. Painting is a great way for me to unwind with a candle and a snoozing cat around usually. Oh, Isabel, that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's a lovely idea. Eileen, I'm glad I found you too. Knitting, spinning and reading. She has a pair of socks and a shawl on the needles at the moment. That's what I've got. I made the granny stripe blanket by Attic 24. So Attic 24, Lucy from Attic 24 is the designer behind this one. She does a granny stripe blanket, which if you watch any podcasts, you see most people, an awful lot of people use that as a Cozy Memories blanket or as a blanket for, which is what Eileen did. She used her sock yarn scraps. A lot of people do them, kind of add them to that. Rainy Day Read. She can't actually knit, but she can mildly crochet. It's absolutely fun. She's started making booktube channels, so booktube videos. So if everybody'd like to go and have a look at Rainy Day Reads, we can say hello to her. Shawn McKelly, hello. She's watching this after dinner. By the way, could you talk about the sitting Buddha? I think he suits the room nicely. Of course, I saw this and I thought I must get Buddha in. So here we are. We have 2.5 foot, nearly 3 foot tall, blue Buddha that's his mudra position. We have candles in front of him, and we normally do incense as well. So we normally do incense at least once a day in front of him as well. We've had him probably about 7 years. Found him in an alternative shop that sells kind of it's called The Cave, and it's in Royston, which isn't that far from here, where we used to live a lot closer to it, and we got him got him from there. The husband saw him and just went, shall we? And I just went, yes. We've had him sitting on the floor before now, but he actually suits being raised. You can start to feel, can't you, what suits something like this, and he actually suits being raised. It seems to be a better fit for him, and he's just sitting on our table at the moment, and I wouldn't change him actually. He did used to sit down there, but he wasn't right. He needs to be higher, and sitting in front of us like that, it just gives a really nice feeling for the room. We're not Buddhist, but we believe in that he was a prophet, and there's an awful lot that he can teach us. I'm a pagan, and so I have a different set of beliefs than the Buddha had. But the Buddha, I mean, I think I've only just scratched the surface of what his teachings are. So he is a constant reminder. I think probably the biggest thing for me, a slightly off tangent here, and I hope this isn't going to offend anyone, but it's about non-attachment to things. And I don't just mean kind of not caring for what you've got or what you haven't got, but living lightly. So you can love freely, and you love somebody completely for who they are. You're not attached to it. You're not kind of making them. I'm not saying non-attachment is such a difficult thing, but that's the thing that I'm most interested about with Buddhism is the more that you attach yourself and the more possessive you get, the more that your possessions speak to who you are, or the more that you put you have attached to something. You can kind of do a death script to something. You can not allow it to be what it is, and you identify too strongly in it rather than trying to live lightlier. Does that make any sense? I'm not sure that does. I wasn't expected to say that, so I didn't think about it properly. But that's the kind of the thing about Buddha is that kind of stuff for me. About Buddhism is that kind of stuff, and the idea of that all human life is suffering, and one of the things that we do to create our suffering is attachment, is over attachment especially, and that kind of stuff. So I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent, but that's one of the things. I just love the atmosphere that he brings to the room, and he reminds us of that. So Shauna, I hope that helps. So yes, he does suit the room beautifully. We absolutely love him. He is we have a goddess figure in the kitchen as well, which you may have seen from previous ones. Teresa Grooms joined our chat working on a crochet scarf meant to be a Christmas gift. Oops. The lemon drizzle and coffee hit the spot. You're very welcome. Carol is from Michigan, USA, knitting on socks. Lovely. Looking forward to today. Lovely to have you here, Carol. I like the look of your socks. Connie, she's finished one sock and are halfway down the second one. Good lass. Also working on a sweater for her grandson. You have a very lovely week too, Connie. Kate had English breakfast. Even though it's a hot afternoon in Australia, that makes no difference. Amanda, always happy to have you here. I hope the other ladies enjoyed my dairy-free squirty cream, which is my latest fantastic discovery. I do believe I did see a couple of other ladies drinking that, and my friends drink that as well. She is working on a rib scarf for her eldest son. Yeah, it'll be lovely. Always happy for you to ramble along, you never. So Louise, yes, I will get back to you about the swatches in a week or two. Hello, Lynn. Tina, thank you for your lovely video and your kind words. Thank you, my darling. Hope you are well. Hope we're thinking of you. My name is exactly like Heather. So Shether. Without the R at the end. Shether. Chev. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm mandling that name. Not great with names. See you next week, and thank you so much. We'll get you lemon drizzle. Thank you. And black chai with cardamom. Yum. And some daffodils. Did you see my daffodils? I'm on Instagram. And I posted a picture of some daffodils that my friend bought me. And have you seen the lovely sun's come out? And I am bathed in sunshine. Amanda, lovely to see you. She's bought homemade cookies. Thank you. I did enjoy them. I had one earlier. Hello, Sue. You are part of the group. Everybody is part of this group. And if anybody else wants to use the Instagram hashtag, it's Tuesday Knit Group, so that we can see what each other's doing. That would be lovely. SF and EG, Sonia. Enjoy the catch up. Finished my basic scarf while watching, and on to the next knitting challenge. What do you recommend as a step up for a beginner? So either look to socks, which is quite a good one, or a shawl pattern. I do think that. Blankets are too big and you can get lost in them. Mittens or gauntlets that I did, they're a great starter, but something like this, any of these knits are lovely to go on. So rather than a basic scarf, which you could do 100 times and you'd still learn from every single time, something like a shawl means you can practice different stitches. So you can practice eyelets or you can practice lace knitting, and you're not worried about the size or how the construction of it. So it's a way of practicing and playing with stitches and what stitches look like and how to read knitting, because those are all things that you eventually start to learn how to do from shawl knitting. And there are so many different kinds of shawls out there. You could do a lace shawl, or you could do a thick bulky shawl, or you could do a quick one or a small one or an enormous one. So I would suggest something like a shawl is a good way to develop your knitting repertoire. But scarves, nothing wrong with scarves, my darling. Lovely to see you, Sonia. I'm so glad you're here. Marina. Always there. The knitted Magnus Mouse now has a wife and 2 babies plus blankets, clothes and cushions. I'm not a toy knitter really. I think you are, but granddaughters can be very persuasive. I've made the coast blanket too. Yes! A fellow Attic 24 lover. Hello Sharon, it's lovely to see you. She currently has her first top-down sweater on the needles, as well as a pair of 2 at a time socks. Never tried 2 at a time. Jane Catherine says, thank you ladies, the lemon drizzle cake was delicious. It was. I'm now going to have a rummage in my loft for my knitting stash. Is it loft, not lift? We live in a bungalow. Thank you, Catherine. you have to read a comment for that to make sense. Yes, get your knitting out. So go to mum. This was a soothing, comforting thing to watch while having the flu. Oh, I hope you're feeling better. I knitted while knitting a dishcloth and sipping chicken broth. Well, actually, who was it? Sonia. Dishcloths are great. I've knitted loads and crocheted loads. In fact, the first project I ever crocheted was a dishcloth, a face cloth, and they're brilliant, especially if you think about all the stuff that's going on about making things that you can reuse, then that's a great idea. So go to mum, I hope you're feeling better. Flu's awful. It's awful. Okay, Miss Moody Two Shoes. Just finished the shawl. It's tiny. I hope it belongs out a lot bigger. Oh, I know that. Also started needle felting. Never done it. Not sure about that rabbit hole. The bullet journal one wasn't for me. No. Look forward to seeing you again. Deborah. Yes, I had to hoover up your lemon drizzle crumbs, but that's all right. It was lovely to have you here, and you, Michelle. Leslie, you are never late. You are never late. It may be Sunday when you turn up, but that doesn't matter. She's crocheting on her first ever Attic 24 Lucy's cozy stripe blanket. Beautiful. I decided on this as I need to practice my tension and to get more comfortable with a hook. Brilliant idea. I'm a knitter and have been for many years, so only dipping in and out, mostly out of crochet, to be honest. Completely understand. I have so many knitting projects on the go and just see which one appeals to me on the day. Yes, Leslie, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. All right, here we are. The nuts for WDW. My screen name means nuts for Walt Disney World. Melinda, lovely to see you. I'm working on a blanket for a good friend I share a birthday with. Oh, how lovely is that? I'm using blanket yarn, which is nice and soft, but hard on the hands to work with. Oh, yes. And she's going to post it on Instagram. And it was Melinda that brought the chocolate chip cookies, which I enjoyed quite a lot. Hello, Florence. Lovely to see. She's enjoying her chai as she knits on a pair of socks. And Sabrina. Hi, everybody. Hi, Louise. Thanks for the lovely chat. Right, I couldn't resist and ordered a package for the Attic 24 woodland blanket yesterday. It'll be delivered in 2 days from the UK to Germany. That's great. I think to do a swatch is a good idea. Did you make a swatch before starting your blanket? Yes, I did. So, the reason I did is because I am conscious that I am a tight crocheter and knitter, and I like to have a vague idea of how big I'm going to be with my blankets, and also if I need to, how much wool I would need to order so that I don't run out. So that's why I did do a swatch with my blanket. You don't need to do a big swatch. I think 20 rows is enough. Which if you do 20 by 20 is not enormous, and that gives you a good size for your swatch. So yes, Sabrina, even on a blanket I would do a swatch, because it's to look at whether the fabric that you're creating looks like you want it to look. So it could be that it just is too tight, or it could be that it's too loose and too gappy. So you would need to do a swatch to look at the fabric that you're creating, because that's basically what we're always doing. When it comes down to it, when we knit and when we crochet, when we do any of these things, we're creating a fabric, and it's to make sure that the fabric that we're creating is exactly what we want. So when I did the swatch to look at the fabric that I was creating with this, I saw that I would have some stitch definition, but it would be a closely woven fabric. I just made too much of it. Let's be honest. So yes, so on a blanket, I did still do a swatch, but not an enormous one. I wanted to see how big it was going to be. What have I got? Something coming up? No. Right, so let's have a look. I've been going on. I thought I was going to make this a quick one. No. When I sat down, I thought, I haven't got that much to say. This is going to be a quick Tuesday. No, I can go on for anybody. So let me show you what I've got here. I haven't got a picture of the pattern, unfortunately. But let me show you some colours that I have. Is that all of them? I think it is. Look at those. Aren't they bright? Can I show you them in the sunshine? Not really. But they are as bright as you think they are. You might be thinking they're bright. They are literally that bright. They're very much the colours of a chakra, aren't they? Apart from I just need a purple and I'm done. So there we are. So this is a kit I have got from Deramores even. So this is the one that I got, and I got a free pattern for them as well. And this is the Kaleidoscope Mandala Cal by Han Jan, who is Hannah Cross. Hannah Cross is the designer. She's Han, H-A-N, Jan, in on Instagram she's Han Jan, but Hannah Cross is her actual name. And they are all, don't know how to pronounce that. Clahista, yeah, Clahista. No, it's that company. I would love to say I know how to pronounce that. I do. I should do. I look like I could be Dutch. A Dutch company, aren't they? So yeah, there we go. It comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I'm missing a colour. Oh, hot pink. There we go. 7 colours. I know, look at that. Isn't that magnificent? So we have royal orange, and it is indeed royal orange. It's 100% double gassed cotton. Why has it been gassed? What does that mean? So yes, we have royal orange, we have emerald, we have vivid blue. Don't have my scarf. Have vivid blue. We have electric blue, shocking pink, hot red, and yellow gold. So we have 7 colours, and it is a swirling mandala. It is a 8-week cal that starts, 8-week crochet along, because Hannah Cross does crochet patterns. So it is a crochet along, so it's CAL. As you can see, CAL. There are 3 different packs that you can get, and I wanted the really bright one. And it is a swirl of colour, and it's all these colours knitted in a kind of it's crocheted in a spiral with the yellow connecting all of it. She's designed it so that it is it's easy to pick up and put down, because she's got a young child, Hannah has, and so it's a project that you don't have to sit and concentrate on. You can pick up and put down and pick up and put down, which appeals to me. But I really want to have a go with it. It looks beautiful. So yes, that's what I did. So I went on the website for them and ordered the pack, as you can see, and it came, and it is lovely. It's cotton, so you have to like to use cotton. I'm quite happy to use cotton. I've got 3 balls each of all of the colours apart from the yellow, which I have 4 balls, and they came, and I was so excited. And I had just been saying to the husband that I had enough wool, and then this package came, and he went, "So what is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, let's just put that away, shall we? We don't need to worry what's in there." So yeah, so that's what I've got that. The cal starts on the 25th of February. So not next week, the week after. Because today is the 12th. So yes, and I'm going to start that, and I am going to do it, and it's 8 weeks, and I really want to do it, and I really like the idea of a big swirl of colour on one of the back of the sofas, as well as using it as a picnic blanket or something like that. I just think it looks so nice. It'll look lovely on a beach. So yeah, I saw it and thought, yep, I want to have a go at doing that. It's not too long. Should teach me a little bit more of crocheting, and then there we go. Right then, I have chatted a long time. We have all chatted a long time. It has been lovely. Thank you so much for coming. I've really enjoyed sitting here with you again, our group that we're creating. And as I say, everybody's welcome. You don't need to do knitting or crochet, anything. The idea of doing watercolour is beautiful. My enormous top on kept me nice and toasty then. And there we go. This has been lovely. Thank you for everybody that brought the cookies and the biscuits and the lemon drizzle. That would be lovely. Anybody wants to bring Victoria Sponge? It's one of my faves, so you're more than welcome to bring that. And I hope you enjoyed the shortbread. You are welcome to take a piece to have for your lunch tomorrow. Don't leave me with it all, otherwise I will eat it. And there we go. So I'm not here next week. So next Tuesday I'm not here. I'm here for Friday reads each Friday, but they won't be having this next week, and so not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday I will see you, and I'll be able to show the update on my shawl, see how far I've got with that, and I think that cal will have started, and so I will be able to show you the beginnings of that cal. I will try and get a picture printed out of it so that I can show you the actual pattern and you can see what I'm going to create. And there we go. This has been lovely. Thank you so much for coming. It's been really nice. Don't forget to take some shortbread with you. And I look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time, if I don't see you for Friday reads. This has been lovely. Let's do this again.